Hello everyone and welcome to our Operating System Senior Design. My name is Selik Samai. My group members are Gregory Beatty-Fechter, Kotyluk, Reyes, and Marcel Tawamba. Before I go into the demo and showcase our code and what we've implemented, I have here just our website where we have a lot of our project details as well as implementation, our presentation, and other things related to the project. Links will be provided in the description below. Now let's go to the code and we'll go ahead and begin the demo. On the left here I just have a terminal, and if we ls in that terminal we have our project folder. We have our mystubs.cc, and that's actually here on the right. This is all our code where we implemented all the functions, and our executable is this my_fs.out. So let's go ahead and run this. And so now we just have this prompt which says which op and file, which basically means which operation and the file. So first we'll just go ahead and do an ls on this. And we see we just have our root directory, and we just have our dot and our dot dot. So there's nothing within this folder currently other than these. And we'll go ahead and create a file. And we'll call it file.txt. And we'll specify the permissions, and we'll give it read, write, and execute. And now we just have that prompt again, but before we continue, let's go ahead and call ls, and we'll see now we have a new file created, and then we also have that inode of 3. And let's go ahead and try another operation, rename. So we'll rename, and the first parameter will be the original file, so file.txt, and we'll rename it as new file.txt. And we see we have that prompt, which operation and file, and let's call ls again. And we see now that inode 3, and we have new file.txt. So that's 2 operations so far. We've actually done quite a bit more. Let's create another new file, but we'll use touch instead of the create. And we'll call this alpha.txt. And again we'll specify the permissions, and we'll call ls on that directory. And we see have our inode of 4, and we have alpha.txt. Let's use another one. Let's actually make a directory. So we'll make a directory called test, specify the permissions, and we'll call ls on that. And we see we do have our test folder. I just want to go ahead and flush the screen just to make it more visible right now. And we'll go back to the program. So why don't we do touch again on another file, and we'll call this one beta.txt. Specify the permissions, and then we'll call ls. And we created a new file, beta.txt. And let's try unlinking that alpha that we created earlier. Okay, now we'll call ls again, and we see we no longer have alpha. We can also do a remove dir, so to remove that directory that we made earlier, and that was test. And now let's call ls again, and we see we no longer have that test. And let's go ahead and try another command. We'll go ahead and call show on that file beta.txt, and we have all this information here on beta.txt. Now we did have that alpha. Let's see what happens if we call show on a file that's no longer here within our directory. So we do see the difference. And let's try a little more complicated one. We'll try p right now for our final test case. We'll call p_write for beta.txt, and the starting position will start at 0, and the data will be simple hello world. Okay, so now to test that we're going to go ahead and use read to make sure it did go ahead and that we did get that data. So we'll go ahead and read that file, and starting position will be 0, and we'll read up to 12 characters. And we see we read hello world from beta.txt. So these are just a few of the actual system calls and functionality that we were able to implement. There's actually a lot more, and you'll find links to our GitHub where you'll see the code, as well as our website where you'll see our implementation details and the group members, as well as links to their various GitHubs as well. Thank you for your time, and thank you for watching our demo.